There are plenty of mysteries around the world that we have not quite explained. Whether it's a centuries-old puzzle we are working to unravel, a cultural phenomenon we do not know masses about, or a recently revealed secret we are still working to explore. There are plenty of findings and hidden pieces of knowledge just tucked around the corner waiting to be discovered. Or perhaps there are some mysteries we are never meant to uncover. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be taking a look at 3 puzzling cases we are yet to find answers behind. Subterranean level under the Treasury Petra Jordan. Al-Khazneh, or the Treasury when translated from its Arabic name, is a temple in Petra, an ancient city of the Nabatean Kingdom. Today, the incredibly intricate, impressive and grand temple has become a fair tourist attraction, with tourism even becoming the primary source of income in Jordan. Originally, Al-Khazneh was built as a mausoleum and crypt during the 1st century, and, as its name might suggest, people believe there are the pharaoh's treasures hidden beneath. However, some of the more interesting aspects of this fascinating temple seem to be hiding beneath the surface. The Al-Khazneh crypt is an underground burial crypt that sits beneath the treasury itself. What's more is that human remains have been found in 4 of these chambers, seemingly from 11 different people. The crypt was discovered in 1996, and the human remains were uncovered in 2003 when the site underwent an excavation, led by Suleiman Farhat. This excavation was truly successful, allowing for a great amount of information to be uncovered. Not only was there both the discovery and confirmation of humans having been present, but archaeologists also found bowls, incense, and gifts dedicated to gods, all of which indicate a strong religious presence. Farhat concluded that Al-Khazneh sat during a religious complex, with the crypt itself functioning as a place of worship. An altar was found within the crypt too, complete with lingering incense residue, which, while it has not been confirmed, is suspected to be frankincense. Some have also presented the idea that the altars, ritual materials, and apparent offerings could suggest that this was a place of celebration and pilgrimage. Another particularly interesting find found within were 3 tombs. These tombs were produced in the Nabatean style and were found 6 meters beneath the surface level. Considering their age, the tombs were in great condition, even with steps leading into them. Several artifacts were found that are useful in dating the tomb, all of which indicated somewhere roughly near the 1st century before Common Era. Of course, the human remains were highly influential in helping to determine this date, though plenty of pottery samples also aided this conclusion. Carbon-based offerings that were found within the crypt, such as incense, provided a more precise date. So while before we were operating in the wide period circa 100 BCE all the way to 100 CE, these carbon-based artifacts, one of which was a niche holder carved from stone from which offerings were hung, allowed research to focus primarily at the beginning of the 1st century CE. Similarly, archaeologists were able to determine that the Al-Khazneh crypt was built during the reign of King Aretas IV. Considering this, many have suggested that at least some of the remains that had been discovered could belong to relatives of King Aretas IV, who was perhaps the most famed ruler of Petra. For centuries upon centuries, we have had very little understanding and minimal theory as to why the Nabateans built the treasury. Though the 2003 excavation certainly unearthed a few more pieces of the puzzle. The mysterious Sajama lines. Sat in Bolivia near the Nevada Sajama volcano, there is a complex and intricate network of lines. These near-perfect straight paths stretch for more than 22,525 kilometers squared and are composed of thousands, possibly even tens of thousands, of individually etched straight lines. This seemingly odd feature seems to have an interesting cultural background. These lines have been carved into the ground for more than 3,000 years by the indigenous people living near the Sajama volcano. Though other than these vague descriptors, We do not know masses about who had constructed the lines, only that they had been in progress for centuries upon centuries. This work is inarguably impressive, with their linear length being estimated to be 3 times the width of the United States. These impressive statistics make the Sajama lines the biggest archaeological site in the Andes and, by some, is the biggest piece of artwork worldwide. The physical creation of the lines themselves have come from scraping away vegetation and the surface material with dark pigmentation, such as soil and oxidized rock, until a lighter material slowly appears. The formation process seems to be like those of the Nazca lines. However, with both sets of lines, we do not know why they are there, the purpose, if any, of them being there, nor how they had been made so precisely, especially given the near-perfect straight nature of the Sajama lines, an impressive feat when considering the natural topography and obstacles that would have undoubtedly hindered this process. Some people have presented theories behind the purpose of the lines, suggesting that they were used by indigenous people to find their way to sacred sites while on pilgrimages. The lines therefore connected the villages situated throughout the lines to the sacred sites in question. The religious and cultural connection theories seem to hold some weight, as there are points where the lines intersect and remains of huacas and chulpas, which are shrines and burial towers, and many of the lines lead to various Catholic churches. There are plenty of unknowns with these archaeological phenomena. Perhaps there are more answers in our future, or maybe these questions will remain unanswered for centuries more. Underground Site, Burlington. Classified information refers to anything that the government considers sensitive enough to protect from public or general knowledge. Typically, this means that there are laws and regulations in place that prevent all but a small number of people from accessing this information. Historically, there have been plenty of documents and materials kept away from prying public eyes, though it is a little less regular that we will see a document, location, or other sensitive material become declassified. With each 25 years that pass, information that is classified typically is reviewed. After all, at some point, we surely accept that the need for secrecy has passed and that it is now safe to share the information with the world. In 2004, an announcement went up on the Ministry of Defence website explaining that there is a government underground site in Wiltshire, southwest England, that was kept secret, though declassified at the end of 2004. It had been intended to be used as a government relocation site in the instance of potential destruction of warfare. This was the first time any official comment had been made regarding the underground lair tucked away and hidden beneath the pretty town of Corsham. Some might even say that for 40 years, this was the most closely guarded secret of the British military. So, why had there been the need for a possible government relocation site in the first place? In the 1950s, at the peak of the battle between international superpowers, the looming threat of warfare was growing to an increasingly sincere concern. In light of this, the Cabinet Office decided, in the event of a conflict, that it would be a promising plan to prepare with an alternative seat of government. It was then, in 1955, that the Central Government Conflict Headquarters was commissioned and the work on this underground relocation site began. The space quickly took on the name Burlington Bunker, though at no point in any government literature was the site referred to as a bunker. Burlington was developed as a code name, and the catchy alliteration apparently stuck nonetheless. This hushed site sat within a 240-acre quarry complete with a complex labyrinth of entrances, streets, and various function rooms that spanned a staggering 35 acres. This was more than a singular safe room to hide within. No, this was an underground city. This site was designed to house the Prime Minister, Harold Macmillan, the entire British government, which encompassed 4,000 members of staff, though not their families, and the royal family, should an attack have occurred. This setup would have kept the governing body safe for 90 days in the event of a thermonuclear attack. Some of the equipment Burlington was decked out with included 100 feet deep reinforced concrete walls, offices, bedrooms, telephones, a bakery, a hospital, and a BBC broadcasting studio, intended to allow for communication between the government and survivors. We do have to wonder, however, how said hypothetical survivors would have reacted to this knowledge that while they were unsafe fighting for their lives, the most powerful were held away. But what do you make of these discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.